Some NBA players left their former teams that they were once stars for, whether it was through a trade or in free agency. A few of these players may have left on bad terms, but looking at this year's free agency, they have an opportunity to return home and try to regain their former selves. So let's go over 5 NBA stars who may return to their old teams this offseason. And before we get into it, if you want to see more daily NBA content just like this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, as your support really does go a long way into growing this channel. First up, I have Derrick Rose. So let's rewind it a bit and take a look at Rose's history. Most NBA fans know the story of Derrick Rose by now. He was the Rookie of the Year, then an All-Star, then the MVP of the entire NBA while leading the Bulls to the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and then of course, the injuries started to occur. The torn ACL in the 2012 playoffs against the Sixers was just the start of a gruesome few years to come, as Rose eventually was hampered by meniscus tears and other knee injuries. Rose could never gain the same form he once had with the Bulls, and he was eventually traded to the Knicks in 2016, where he played well, but he did have his ups and downs. He then signed with the Cavs, which was a disaster, and then got one last chance with the Wolves later in the 2017-18 season. He played well in the playoffs, and he carried that momentum into this year, where he was one of the best bench players in the entire NBA. Rose drastically changed his game as he became a dangerous three-point shooter, which also helped space the floor for his drives. Now, Rose will be a free agent once again this offseason, and he'll likely have a lot of teams vying for his services. One team that looks like a perfect fit for him is actually his former team, the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls need a starting point guard to run the show, as Chris Dunn has been a huge disappointment to say the least. Dunn has been a horrible three-point shooter, below average at finishing at the rim, and a decent playmaker at best. Dunn would be better suited in a backup role like Marcus Smart in Boston, and Rose would be a great fit in the starting lineup instead of him. He would form a dynamic backcourt with Zach LaVine, and while defense would be an issue, their offense would be insane. Rose would get some offensive pressure off of him, and he'll get a chance to come back home in what will be a great story. But most importantly, Rose would help the Bulls get out of the gutter, and I think with him being the starting one, I would not be surprised if the Bulls shock people and win 45 games if everything goes right. So next up, I have Isaiah Thomas. Man, just thinking about it, what happened to IT? Well, injuries just did him in. Being 5'9" is hard enough when playing in the NBA, but then his hip injuries took away some of his quickness. Being that short, you need every little, no pun intended, advantage you can get, and that extra speed that Thomas lost that he once had over his opponents really hurt his game. He just can't get by his defender as often anymore, and he has basically no chance at guarding anyone as usual. He couldn't break the Nuggets rotation, and his future in the NBA isn't looking too good. However, I think he has a chance to revitalize his career back where he became a star, and that's with the Celtics. The Celtics had a disaster of a season this past year, and it looks like both Irving and Rozier will both leave this offseason. That will leave the Celtics very thin at point guard, and they could definitely use a guy like Thomas off the bench as a spark plug scorer. I think with a healthy offseason really working on his game and not rehabbing for the first time in 2 years, Thomas can potentially get back to around 50 to 60% of his 2017 form. And that would make for a terrific 6-man scorer who can get a quick 15 points per game and really change the pace of a game if the Celtics offense is getting stagnant. Signing Thomas to a 1-year minimum deal to get his stock back up for the following offseason would be beneficial for both teams, and this would also be a low-risk move for the Celtics. So, if Thomas's return doesn't go well, the Celtics will only have him for 1 year, and at least it will make for a great return story. Tony Parker had an up and down season for the Hornets, as he was solid at penetrating defenses and distributing the ball, but his defense left a lot to be desired. Parker's second year with the Hornets is non-guaranteed, and the Hornets may not pick up his team option if they want to rebuild and go younger. This would make Parker a free agent, and it would be great to see Parker return to the Spurs for possibly his final year in the NBA. Parker would provide the Spurs with point guard insurance off the bench, and I could see him getting about 15 minutes per game off the bench, providing a spark for the Spurs second unit. Of course, Parker knows the Spurs system, and I would love to see him go back to the playoffs at least one more time. Just thinking about it, it's crazy how time flies, as it feels like just yesterday Parker and the Spurs beat the Heat back in 2014. It would be great to see Parker have one more vintage performance in the playoffs, and what better place to have it with the team he's been with for almost his entire NBA career. Next up, I have Vince Carter. Carter is coming back yet again for another NBA season at 42 years old, and he's definitely shown he still got it. With the Hawks, he was effective off the bench as a 3-point shooter, who helped spread the floor, and he also showed a few times that he still has some hops left. I would love to see Carter back with the Raptors, where he was once the face of the franchise, as an elite player, and that would be a great place for him to end his NBA career. It would of course be a great story, but Carter would also be useful off the bench as well. He could help provide some scoring for a Raptors bench that has been horrible this year, and he would likely see a solid 15 minutes per game for a playoff contender, as long as the Raptors don't blow it up if they lose Kawhi. We'll see what happens, but I would love to see Carter return to the Raptors for his final season in the NBA. And to round out this list, I have Julius Randle. Randle had the best season of his NBA career this past year, as he averaged 21.4 points, 8.7 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 0.7 steals, and 0.6 blocks per game with the New Orleans Pelicans. He was unstoppable in the paint, as he powered his way to baskets on post-ups and on drives to the rim as well. He also developed the 3-point shot, as he shot 34.4% from 3 on 2.7 3-point attempts per game. And while that's not a great percentage, it's respectable enough that defenders have to guard out at him, out at the perimeter. This opens up driving lanes for him and his teammates, and he took full advantage of the newfound space he was able to create. It's going to be interesting to see if the Pelicans want to bring back Julius after getting the #1 overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft, where they will likely pick Zion Williamson. Because of this, they may want to move on from Randle and let him go in free agency. There would be a chance that Randle is looking for a big long-term deal, but if he doesn't find the money he's looking for because a team may think that his numbers were bloated for playing for a bad team, I think we may see him return to his former team. If the Lakers strike out on all their main free agent targets, I could see them offering Randle the max they could offer on a 2-year deal with a team option in the second year. This would give Randle a big payday and the Lakers the flexibility to either keep Randle the following year or decline his option if they want to chase another big free agent. Randle would be a great fit with the Lakers as a small ball 5, who could help provide tremendous scoring from everywhere on the floor. He would be a great option in the post, and he could also help spread the floor, giving LeBron, Ball, Ingram, and others more room to drive and operate in when they're all on the floor together. Defense would be an issue with Randle at the 5, as he isn't a great rim protector, but he would likely at least help give the Lakers a top offense in the NBA. I would love to see Randle return to the Lakers, and we'll see if both sides can work out a deal. And for 2 honorable mentions, I have Jamal Crawford to the Warriors and Jeremy Lin to the Knicks. It would be really fun to see Crawford in a Warriors jersey again, and I think the Warriors could really use his scoring off the bench. They have a really weak bench, and adding Crawford for a quick spark in about 15 minutes per game or so could be really helpful in shoring up some of their second unit problems. Also, I would love to see Jeremy Lin return to the Knicks as likely a backup, as I think he could find some of his old magic back in the Garden. He struggled with the Raptors due to adjusting to a new team on the fly, but with the Hawks, Lin showed that he was a top backup point guard in the NBA. It would be fun to see Lin's sanity return for the Knicks, and we'll see if the two sides can make a reunion work. So, that's a wrap. Thank you all for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video and want to see more daily NBA content just like this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and also be sure to turn on post notifications so you can stay updated on my next video will be coming out. Also, follow me on Instagram and hit me up if you want to talk about basketball, business, or have any video ideas you want me to do. Let me know, as I do try to get back to all you guys there. Drop a comment down below on which NBA star you want to see return to their old team. Let me know, as I do read all comments. I'm definitely interested to see what you guys have to say. So, with all that being said, once again, thank you all for watching, and hopefully, I will see you guys soon for the next video. Peace.